A Friday strike by Ontario's education support workers is a step closer as the Ford government pushes forward with its controversial legislation to impose a contract on them and use the notwithstanding clause so they have no way to fight it. The Premier made it clear today he is not backing down.
Mr. Speaker, I ask the opposition, stop attacking and going after our students, stop going after our parents. They talk about 54,000 workers. We're talking over 1 million parents that would take work off because you want to feather the nest of the heads of the union. That's unacceptable. We want to take care of the front-line, hard-working, educational workers, and we'll always have their backs.
Debate to pass the new legislation began at 5 o'clock this morning in order to make it law by Thursday and make a walkout illegal. The union is vowing that all education support workers will strike on Friday anyway, even though fines could add up to more than $220 million per day.
This government needs to sit down with the education workers and actually negotiate, not dictate, actually negotiate and come to a deal that everyone can live with.
The Prime Minister weighed in on the unprecedented move and voiced his displeasure.
Using the notwithstanding clause to suspend workers' rights is wrong.
The notwithstanding clause is known as the nuclear button that provinces can use to override parts of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It has never been used in a labour dispute before. Despite Trudeau's good relationship with Doug Ford, he wants others to put pressure on the Premier as well.
And I really hope that all politicians call out the overuse of the notwithstanding clause to suspend people's rights and freedoms.
The government and the union started out far apart, and the gap has barely moved. CUPE, which represents the lowest paid workers in education, like education assistants, office staff, and early childhood educators, has been asking for a roughly 11.7% increase each year for 4 years. The government's latest offer on Sunday was a 2.5% increase to workers making less than $43,000 and a 1.5% raise for those making more.
I do hope in my heart that we can proceed with children being in school without disruption.
While the provincial government and union appear to be careening toward a Friday strike, the union did present a revised offer this morning, and a government source said they would be open to negotiate if the mediator requests it. Despite it being a Labour issue, the Labour minister was not available to answer questions outside the legislature for the second day in a row. The opposition was, though.
It's the wrong thing to do. They know it. If you're proud of it, then come out here and stand behind it.
I think the government has been planning this for months. I mean, look at that legislation. It's a hefty piece. It wasn't written overnight.
There are still 2 more days scheduled for negotiations. Essentially, parents, students, and workers are in a holding pattern to see what happens next.